Good evening. Welcome to Music Minute from Epiphany Lutheran Church in Richmond, Virginia. I'm Kevin Barger, the Director of Music Ministries, and thank you for joining us tonight as we look at the hymns for worship tomorrow, this fourth Sunday after Pentecost. We're going to start and go in order today, and the first one is Eternal Father, Strong to Save, one that I think we probably most commonly know as the Navy hymn. This song was originally written in 1860, and it was for one of William Whiting's students who was sailing to America. The hymn was originally most used most widely in English-speaking countries as the sailor's hymn, and it's now been allied to the state almost as much as it has been allied to the church. It's inscribed over the chancel at the Navy Academy and the chapel at Annapolis. And it was Franklin Delano Roosevelt's favorite hymn. A little piece of trivia for you. The tune was actually written for these words, and Melita is the ancient name for the island now known as Malta, and that is where Paul was shipwrecked and found safety. So this is Eternal Father, Strong to Save. Probably a little different than what you're used to hearing with the trumpets and the fanfares and the organ. So a nice little different variation of that. Next, we're going to move to a newer hymn. And actually, I should mention that all of these hymns we've actually done during the pandemic. So you might recognize some of these as we've seen them. The hymn of the day is God, the Sculptor of the Mountains. And this was commissioned in 1993. And that was by the Alumni Council of Perkins School of Theology, which is in Dallas, Texas. And the author had just been to Alaska, and he was overtaken with the vastness there, the fact that it was just openness everywhere. And that caused him to think. So what he decided to focus on in that was Christ in three different ways. One, Christ and his salvation history. Secondly was Christ as experienced in the Eucharist. And the third was as we experience Christ in Christ. So a nice little introspective look at this. There are a couple of original lines that did not make the final cut of the hymn that we sing today, or tomorrow. And those were, just because I think they're fun, one is God, the downdraft of the eagle. And that was created because he had seen his first bald eagle just before he wrote it, and he was marveling at the artistry that God had in the bald eagle. And the second one that didn't make it in, and I'll let you decide why, is God, the fly in Pharaoh's ointment. I'll let you consider why that might not have made it. This is a gospel-style hymn, and we're going to have an arrangement of that now. God, the sculptor of the mountain. Very easy to sing, and it's a fun song. It just makes you want to smile. So last but not least, speaking of wanting to sing, is My Life Flows On in Endless Song. This is to the tune of How Can I Keep From Singing? And it first appeared in a publication entitled Bright Jewels for the Sunday School in 1869. It probably had Quaker or Shaker original. We're not really sure. In the publication that I mentioned, it was actually listed as anonymous, but we think it might be Quaker or Shaker. And others seem to think, though, that there could be some Baptist hymnody history in there as well. And it's important to note that we're talking about My Life Flowing On in Endless Song. It talks about love, and this is not a love that's empty or airy, but rather it's talking about God in Christ, who is, quote from the hymn, the Lord of heaven and earth. So this is My Life Flows On in Endless Song. My life flows on, an endless song. So, thank you for joining us this evening, and we hope that we'll see you tomorrow in worship, either online here at 10:30 on Facebook and YouTube, or in the sanctuary at 9 o'clock or 10:30. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.